I mean, you're both working barbers.
Yeah.
How did you go from working in the barbers in, where you work to your barber shop and then to in a prison?
We had Modern Barber magazine in to speak to our lads and stuff and show them that there is other aspects of barbering and seeing about it. And just because they're in prison, it doesn't mean they're like bad people who just made stupid mistakes, really.
These people that are in prison, they come from broken homes, as it were. They haven't had parents, they come from foster care, and giving them personal skills, even like what Joe said, if they don't go out to be a barber, they're a better person after this course. So it's teaching all those skills.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, show them trying to bring back the old fashioned kind of barbering where it's more to do with hospitality and everything else as well. That's what we're trying to bring into it. But unfortunately, there's certain things that obviously we can't teach due to being in a prison. So we can't teach wet shaving and stuff like that.
I remember there was one day, me and him was in the room together and we looked around. We're
only meant to have
15 prisoners in there.
Yeah.
And me and him looked at each other and was like, this kicks off now.
It's game over. I was going to say, it's got to go through your head,
There's
isn't it?
scissors everywhere. Every station's got scissors, clippers. And me and him looked at each other and was like, there's 15 lads in here in grey tracksuits.
It is
and
crazy.
me and you. If they want to kill us, we're done.
Welcome to The Noble Barber. This is a podcast for barbers by barbers, cutting through the crap of the industry. We all want to know how our businesses can run better. I want to talk to people who've done it, messed it up and got it right second time round, and can tell us the way that you and I can make our businesses better. Hi there. Welcome to another edition of The Noble Barber. Slight different format today, as there's three of us here chatting. I'm with Ben Oakey, nearly, and Joe Thomas. Thank you, guys. You guys were right at the start of episode 1 of this, was on my wish list. So thank you so much for coming up. And, well, really, I think I need you to tell everyone what you do. But this is your involvement with the HMP, or HMP Nottingham.
Yeah. Myself and Joe work for HMP Nottingham, delivering, well, Joe now delivers barbering to prisoners in a remand B prison. You want to?
So as of next month, so April, I've been there 2 years. Ben's been there 2 years now, and we used to work together till, November when you got promoted? Or a little bit before? So, now Ben's my manager, but we started pushing on. So just before Ben became manager, we had Modern Barber magazine in to speak to our lads and stuff and show them that there is other aspects of barbering and seeing about it. And just because they're in prison, it doesn't mean they're like bad people who just made stupid mistakes, really. And they're believing second chances. So that's obviously about the remand thing. But so we're trying to show them different things that they can do, even if they don't take barbering fully, as a career. So for instance, just learning the hospitality side of things, like your customer service. You can take it into anything. You just tailor yourself to whatever client you're doing and different things.
It's the personal skills as well. That these people that are in prison, they come from broken homes, as it were. They haven't had parents. They come from foster care, and giving them personal skills, even like what Joe said, if they don't go out to be a barber, they're a better person after this course. So it's teaching all those skills.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, show them trying to bring back the old fashioned kind of barbering where it's more to do with hospitality and everything else as well. That's what we're trying to bring into it. But unfortunately, there's certain things that obviously we can't teach due to being in a prison. So we can't teach wet shaving and stuff like that, but we'll speak about it, go through different things, trying to push their skill set. So Ben will teach them patterns and stuff that were technically not part of our curriculum, but we'll stretch them, show them other things, and hopefully get them at a standard where they're able to go in for a trade test or anything else. Or again, back to their hospitality, or just show them where they're able to go to, just be able to have that interview kind of thing, where they're able to just stand there and actually take an interview. But what we're trying to set up now is, I think May, we're trying to set up a careers day for them. So we're getting people in for that have railway and stuff like that, and trying to get barber in, other little things, and trying to do down in our education block, so that all these career people who hire ex-offenders for anything, depending on what it is, and then get them in to show that, look, you actually are employable. This is an end of the road. There is other things that you can do. There is a second chance for you, different things. And this is what me and Ben have just started reaching out as of less than 18 months ago now. I started reaching out personally to AP schools, so alternative provisions, to try stop young teenagers who've been kicked out of school. and set up my own business now called Educating Future Barbers, trying to help out them basically get a career in barbering and show them that there is, for all these people who want to make...
Because the percentage of people that are excluded that end up in prison is horrific. It's in high 70s always.
Yeah. So
terrifying.
When I looked into setting up this business, you can find it online, the percentage of people who, like schools that teach hairdressing or bricklaying and stuff like this, and none of them taught barbering. So I started looking into it and started pushing it more, and now I've started getting contracts and phone calls and doing sample days at schools to see if they want to come on board. So we started looking into this, and the percentage of people who stayed in hairdressing was less than 5%, and the people who stayed in construction and stuff after like being in prison or from the AP schools who taught it, who stayed in that career afterwards, was roughly the same, slightly lower, so less than 5% again. None of them had barbering or anything else, and I was like, ooh. From me going into barbering when I restarted college at 22, it was literally just a game changer. It opened up my confidence level in myself, how I approach different things. Even now, coming to being, now I've just done two qualified levels, so I've done my IQA and my CET in the past 18 months. It shows that I'm not as dumb as I used to think I was, or the way they used to see themselves are, or the way some of the prisoners think they are now. It's showing that, look, you can actually take yourself further. Even if you are dyslexic, such as myself, it doesn't matter. There's loads of opportunities from barbering that can open up other doors for yourself.
That's the thing that they try, and so prisoners will try and use those things like dyslexia and stuff like that as, I can't do it. Can't do it. So and then you can be like, well, here's a great example that you can do it. We can help you on every single turn that you need help with. We're not just going to say, oh, okay, we're not going to accept we're not going to accept that you just say, I can't do it, because we'll push them to be better. And you can see it when they start the course. So they'll start the level 2 barbering course and they're in their shell. They won't know how to talk to people. All they know is, well, whatever they're in there for, fighting, drugs, whatever it will be.
Using slang terms or whatever it is.
They won't know how
I guess that's a very big bit of it. You know, I mean, the crux of our industry is that communication, that consultation, being able to kind of share that information. Which I guess as working barbers you get used to as just part of your toolkit, don't you? But for these guys, totally alien, presumably.
Oh, definitely. Because as I said about tailoring yourself to each customer as well, I tell them to do that with like any prisoner who's in their chair as well. Like, just because you know this person, don't always try to treat it as someone different, especially in a prison, because you have a lot of the same turnover of staff, because we only teach to cut hair for the people in the education block. So teaching them. So every couple of weeks you get the same person in, so you know how to cut their hair, you get a little bit comfortable with knowing what to do. So just try to tell them like, oh, with your customer service bit, just try to tailor it differently, give a little bit more advice. Like, how would you change their hairstyle? What would you do? And again, stretching them into different areas, like I said earlier, with patterns and stuff. But we also don't teach like shampooing or anything. But getting the lads to offer that additional services, anything, just to pull them out of their shells, like something simple, like something so simple.
And presumably, you know, as tutors, you can see the rise in their confidence quicker than
big time.
Than the actual skill is going in. I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
You have some of them who take naturally to it. We've had a few lads in there who are actually really decent barbers, but terrible with scissors or something like that. Or you'll have to go, and they'll be dead cocky, and you just have to drag them down a peg and go, look, you need to learn how to do this. You need to do this. Yeah. And then, like for instance, I've started showing them, a lot of my lads now, how to section hair quite easily. Like I use the horseshoe shape, or I'll do a middle parting or whatever, and showing them when it's actually a lot quicker and easier for you to, once you know how to section, pull that bit out of the head and going up to the parietal ridge and knowing what to do. Once you know where how the clipper, hold the clipper naturally and let it flick out, you'll just naturally flow. And then you start moving into these little other areas that once you have them little basic skills, it flows so quick.
And the difficulty as well is a lot of them don't want to come in. They don't want to learn. They have to be in some sort of purposeful activity within the prison. So
they're ticking. A lot of them are ticking this box. I'll do that because it's better than doing that.
So if they're a sentenced prisoner, they have to do a meaningful activity, meaning work, education, a job on the wing. And barbering is one of the most popular courses within there, but they've only picked it because they
think
have
it's
to pick
easy.
something, but they think, oh,
So
I'm
there's
going to
no
get a haircut.
natural. I've always wanted to be a barber.
Yeah.
They think, oh, I'm going to get a haircut every week.
I hadn't clocked that.
Yeah,
I thought that was a choice. I thought you had this
No, so-
room full of very eager, willing
It's
students.
known as Rule 31.
But these people that are coming through the door don't really want to do it. They're being forced into it. And some of these people have never had a job in their life, and they don't intend to really have a job. But some of them that have came in the door and have given us that attitude that they have never wanted a job, don't really want to get into barbering, have left that course wanting to become a barber. And actually, one of them, can't really say any names, but has become a barber, leaving, not just one, there's been more than that, but one recently has become a barber.
And this was one that wasn't interested in...
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah.
Like you have some of them who are mad, like why some of them are in prison in general in the first place. There was a lad on there who continued on to do his level 3 at a different prison because they're able to request their stuff. So because we do it unitized as well. So
the evidence of their work.
their evidence. So we do it unitized through VTCT, where they're able to, if they just pass health and safety, and luckily if they head to one of our other prisons who are also in contract with us, our provider, they're able to continue on. But even if they left prison fully, they could contact VTCT with their ULN number, so their unique learner number, and pick up where they left off anyways from outside.
But that's what I was going to say. When they do leave, is there support for them?
When you mean
externally,
when you say leave, do you mean
when
leave
they finish
the
their
establishment and out of prison?
Yeah.
What was the question? Sorry.
So if they've done your course and have got to a stage where they're doing well with it, they've got their qualification, it's all good. Yeah. When they leave, is that the end of it? There's not. Is there anywhere for them? Is there more support outside of prison for them?
Some of it does rely on themselves, like to do that. But what we have been trying to do is I have contacted certain companies such as Gould and other barbershops.
To give them an introduction.
Yeah, but also other little local, because we're a local prison. So anyone from like Sheffield, Chesterfield, Derby, Nottingham, and possibly Northampton, because normally anyone from down there will move to, even though it's technically East Midlands, will move to another prison that's closer to Birmingham or that way.
Okay.
But we're trying to look out and reach out to other barbershops in them areas, like just randomly message them and just go, look, we have some people like to come out, this and that. Would you be happy to interview, whatever? So we've literally only just started getting on top of that, like start messaging people to do it.
If they need to contact, say if they need this certification for proof of the qualifications, they can contact the prison. Things should be sent out to them, but if they're not, if there's a change of address or whatever, they can contact the prison for that support, for all their evidence if they need it.
So they can continue on from another prison and everything else. But like I said, one of the guys that went on and did his level 3, he was putting himself through uni and he used to sell drugs doing that.
Right.
But then came in and he was just, and it was nice to hear when he was leaving and before he moved on to the next prison that he was like, this has changed my life. He turned around and goes, it's
rewarding.
Job security, job rewarding.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
So it was decent to hear that when he said that too. He goes, look, lads, you've changed it. It's like, and it's nice that they're giving you that recognition as well, like to show that, look, they came in like with the big bravado or whatever. But
makes
then
it
went,
worth it out of 50 prisoners, even if one or two of them come back and say, you've really changed my life, like it's a rewarding.
It's huge.
Like, at the minute we have this guy who's very, very nervous, like ridiculously nervous. And he didn't want to do the course. He was just again, purple activity, signed up for it, got put onto it. Really suffers from like ADHD.
Anxiety as well.
Yeah, anxiety. But to help him out, we've been over to the wings to see him every week recently because he's not been coming down because he's been suffering from his anxiety and everything else. And then we adapted booklets for him as well, so it'd help him read and everything else. So there's something called bionic reading that helps with people with ADHD or dyslexia, that helps bold letters in the word and then skips and on every second word. But he was like struggling to read, and we just started adapting to help him out. And his confidence has grown so much. It's ridiculously so much.
Wow. I remember meeting him.
It was such a nightmare at first.
Again, can't mention his name, but I remember meeting him, and
I wanted to kick him.
I was covering on that day. So I was teaching again on that day. And he was like, no, I'm not cutting hair. I'm not cutting hair. I was like, listen, you can go back to your cell and sit in your cell in a dark room on your own, or you can stay down here and learn something. And he was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I was like, listen, I'll stand with you every step of the way. I'll do a little bit of the haircut, you do a little bit of the haircut. I do a little bit, you do a little bit. That's literally how we're going to do this haircut, step by step. And he was like, right, come on then. He was dripping in sweat, anxious as anything, didn't want to do it. Got to the end of the haircut and he was like, thank you. Like, I really enjoyed that. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's rewarding.
How
It's
amazing.
rewarding.
Yeah,
And so, how long is the course? How?
technically, because we've had to have the course adapted purposely for a remand prison. So luckily, VTCT has adapted it for us as well, for our provider personally. So it's now, instead of being 8 units, only 4. So we do the main one. So we do health and safety consultation and cut facial, cut men's hair, which on paper, it works out, like from the hours, it works out just over 4.5 months slightly.
Okay.
But you're on the course for roughly about 6 months, because we do a training day in the prison probably once or twice every month. Like for the prison shuts down, where the prisoners are all locked away for the day. Officers are training, we do training. So they're down there. So then it stretches out to be about 6 months. Because
This is the thing. So it is like say 4.5 months long, but in that time, that say you, the prisoner, you've got visits, court appearances,
Healthcare.
video link appearances, healthcare. All these things affect your learning time. So we won't actually get you for them 4.5 months. Like
There's
if you
other
were going to come
aspects.
down for 4 days out of a week, we might only see you 1. So then that's getting added on to the end.
Wow.
So by that point, which is the reason that instead of us teaching, so with ours being unitized, say you came and did the health and safety unit with us and then got shipped out to another prison, you can then go straight onto the next unit. But if we signed you up to the whole course,
Yeah,
if you
that
started
makes
those units
You won't
and
be
you
able to
left,
continue.
you can't continue. You have to restart again, and you have to restart again and again and again every
Wow.
time you moved. So it's the way we do it.
No,
yeah,
that's
it is
amazing.
quite good that it's unitized. And then at the very end of it, you get one umbrella certificate, say to your level 2 diploma. Here you go, exactly the same. So, but luckily for us, on the day, like if Ben's covering or if I'm doing it personally for myself, we do watch it, show them as much as possible of like level 2, level 3. We try to merge both of them because
And how long
there's
do
not
you
much
get
difference.
them for when you've got them in for a training?
2.5, 3 hours.
That's changed a lot lately.
It's 2.5. It varies, doesn't it? It's like 2.5, 3 hours.
I'm going to say about 3 hours now at the minute, especially in the morning class, because they're coming down from any time from 8:30 and not going back till 11:30.
And are they physically at any point doing a haircut?
Yeah.
I make them cut every day,
Yeah,
apart
yeah.
from one day a week where I make them do paperwork or cut each other's hair.
Okay. And that's just, I mean, you're saying obviously you can't use cutthroat.
Yeah. So
Razor.
lads use scissors,
So how
lads
do
use
you
foils.
get through the scissor and...
Just teach them. So they're all signed out, signed in. Everything's registered to them. So anyone who comes onto my course, I do an introduction and basically tell them that this is your equipment, this is your stuff. I know exactly what's in the cupboards. This is all the stuff in the shadow board. This is what I hand to you. This is what I expect back. If anything at any stage goes missing, it doesn't matter who's took it. It's on you. It's fully on you. And they have that rapport
And so
now.
there is a checking in and a
Yeah,
checking
yeah,
out.
fully.
that's-
And then
Yeah.
the officers come in at the end of the lesson and check as well. So at any point before their client leaves, I make them check their stuff, and then it's just double checked. So not only how they check in to make sure, but then I check, and then the officer checks at the very end. If at any point my student will get basically a rap on the knuckles if anything's missing, and they'll be taken off that course. So then they go, ooh, maybe I will double check, and to check everything. So I make sure.
Each item's tagged. So each set of clippers has got a tag. Each set of scissors has got a tag.
you know who to sign them
you
out
take
to.
that clipper, you put that tag on that person's name, and you know that person's got them clippers. So if that goes missing, you know that person's
Had a-
potentially taken them. Not that they
It
can't. They
doesn't
can't leave the. They
It hasn't
can't,
happened, to be
nothing
fair.
happened.
they can't leave the room with the tools anyway.
Because
We're
it's
not allowed
locked,
to open our door. So
So it's
a
completely
high
locked
risk.
down
Oh,
when
yeah,
you're in
it's
there.
a high
I find
risk.
this really
That's
yeah, we're
fascinating.
locked in the room with.
Just me and
I remember there was one day, me and him was in the room together, and we looked around. There was
We're only
probably
meant to have-
15 prisoners in there.
Yeah.
And me and him looked at each other and was like,
This
this
is a
kicks
lot.
off now. It's
Yeah,
game
well, I was
over.
gonna say, it's gotta go
There's-
through your head,
There's
isn't it?
scissors
Oh.
everywhere. Like
So-
every station has got scissors, clippers. And
Oh,
me and
it's
him looked at
nuts.
each other and was like, there's 15 lads in here in grey tracksuits.
It is
and me
crazy.
and you. If they want to kill us, we're done.
But there was a stage where it's like one of our managers just walked past and goes, like, what are you doing in here? We used to have a theory room and then the Barbers. And he had his 5 students, I had mine.
Right.
But then we were just like, right, they've done haircuts and it's keeping them entertained. Because you have to set them obviously some work to do and get them back and get it set out. But then eventually, did it get bored? You just like,
They just want to
right,
cut hair.
Yeah.
They don't want to do the paperwork,
No,
which
they
they
don't.
have to, but they just want to cut hair.
But now, because after being there for 2 years, now a lot of them, you just have that ground rule because this part of the course, lads, it's tough, just do it. Whereas before it was all right. And then eventually one day, we had no one to cut hair. So I brought my lads in to cut his hair. his lads, and the vice versa swapped over. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, someone's brought up students to have the haircut.
Haircuts, yeah.
And was like, oh, crap. And then this happened, this is going off, and it's just manic. And then managers come up and goes, aren't you meant to be in there? I was just like, it's a long story.
So the customer, the guys who are getting haircuts are obviously
Prisoners.
offenders as well, prisoners as well. And so
you have every category that you can think of.
And I mean, are they presumably you'd assume there's no lack of customers. I mean, if you're in prison and you're not getting your haircut in the barbers, how do you get your haircut?
On the wing. But you have to be.
Who cuts the hair on the
wing? Barber
From our class.
Well,
there should be. Should be. That's how it should be.
So he will be allowed to take scissors.
No, they're already on the wing. They're not allowed scissors on the wing. They're only allowed clippers.
Right.
So all the haircuts on the wing are just with clippers.
So we teach them how to use the clippers over what's at the top of the head, so pull in the fingers as well, and use them as scissors per se, instead of just going number eight. Okay.
So does it make them more popular as prisoners, presumably?
Everyone wants to be the
There's got
barber's
to be
friend.
some credibility in there,
We
and they get to
literally-
practice and practice
You'll
and practice.
You'll never find a poor barber in prison.
we walk past the wings and you have people shouting out, goes, give us a haircut. I went, I don't carry clippers on me. But you get people shouting, it goes, Ben Joe. It's like,
Oh mate, that's
every
amazing.
time.
They're the favourite person in prison.
Literally, it doesn't matter who it is. I'm pretty sure all 950 of them know our names.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm sure of it. Everyone goes, oh yeah, I'm down at Barber. Oh, Ben and Joe, yeah.
Right.
It's nuts. It is crazy how manic it can get, but then how relaxed it is at the same time.
And this is
It's literally the best job I've ever had. Mad.
It's what?
It's the best job I've ever had.
Oh, that's fantastic. It does seem it.
I'm exactly the same. Best job I've ever had. Even after having my own shop for 11 years, like this is the chaos, the carnage, the
banter,
the chances of it kicking off any second.
It's fun.
I love it.
It is fun.
Love it.
I never expected to like come across people who have been in for every kind of crime that you can personally think of, and literally taking the piss out of them, literally constantly bantering left, right, and centre. It doesn't matter who it is, what they've done, and you just treat them as normal people. You don't. I literally have no bias here. I don't want to know what they've done. I don't expect to know. I don't like looking. But I just ignore it and just carry on, because otherwise I feel like if I knew, I think I'd be a little bit biased about it. I'm like, ooh. But so I do.
And then you get, like you say, you're getting this fantastic. You're making these guys incredibly popular during their time there.
Because because it used to be just one wing barber, and in the past 2 years, then it was a wing barber and a hair care person on the wing, where someone who'd learn how to plait hair or do braiding.
Right.
Now that's on every wing. It's crossed since the two prisons. It's crossed every wing, where there's now technically two barbers on every wing.
Jeez.
And then you have other people who've just done it themselves, just learned on the wing. But we was like, no, don't go to them. Go to our lads. Here we go, because they know how to cut hair. We've showed them how to, if they mess up a haircut, how to fix a haircut. And then we've started learning how to braid hair and stuff now.
For the wing barber, so the way it's supposed to work is, and generally it does work on most wings, but for that person to become wing barber, the wing manager would contact me or Joe and say, this person's on your course. Is he good enough to be the wing barber? And we'll say yes or no. And if they're on our course and we see that they are good enough, then we'll say yes, obviously.
And is this standardly across most prisons, or is it?
Couldn't tell
So
you.
I've only covered at 3 other prisons. I've done a bit of cover at other ones, and they're so relaxed compared to our prison, because most of them are Cat C's, the ones that I've been to.
Right.
Are from Lincoln. That's Cat B as well, but that's a hold-in prison, whereas we're remand, so it's a very roll in, roll out.
So to be wing barber as well, you're employed by the prison and being paid by the prison to be that wing barber.
Oh, okay.
But anyone on the wing can cut hair if they've got their own clippers.
Right.
But they can't just bring their clippers down or anything like that, whereas the wing barber can bring them to us, and we can clean them and maintain
tighten
them.
up, realign the blades. We can do that for them.
Because they're not allowed to have disinfectant or anything on the wing, because it's an aerosol. So
Right.
Which I'm trying to push.
So where it's in a locked cabinet for them, where when they sign out their clippers, they should be signing that out as well.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, they should only sign that out at the very end of each haircut, which as Ben just said, we're trying to push for.
I mean, how did you prep for this? You're both working barbers.
Yeah.
And so you go from, how did it start? How do how did you go from working in the barbers in, where you work to
This is
your
nuts.
barber shop and then to in a prison?
We both have a very similar story on that bit, because when we both met, we actually spoke about it, and it was like, oh, what happened with you? I was just like, I did not see myself in my 40s.
So you guys met in prison?
Yeah.
Or but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
just the other side.
Just the other side of
You
the
both
box.
met doing this for prisons.
In prison, yeah.
Yeah, but we both had some very similar kind of things. Like, what did you want to do? We both said we didn't want to be in our 40s, stood behind a chair.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was just from there.
my shoulders are knackered, my back's knackered.
My feet are killing.
No, from cutting
Like,
hair and you.
when he's been doing it 5 years longer than I have.
Don't tell me about it. I've been behind the chair for 4 years.
Yeah.
I've been doing it 13 years this September. It's absolute madness. Like,
And people don't think that it's that much of an issue on your body, but it is. You're constantly hunched
doing
over.
long
You're
days,
constantly-
like 16
you moved,
hours.
so you were making the move from being behind a chair to education anyway. weren't you?
Yeah.
So I started pushing, did my assessor's award. And then while I've been in the prison, I've done my IQA and done my CET. And now I'm actually looking into doing my QTS, my next level after that.
Yeah.
That's
I
my
was,
plan.
I was the same as Joe. Had my own shop for like 11 years. Didn't ever want to just stay in there. So I looked into getting into teaching, which I wanted to do anyway, get into teaching. Got my assessor's award. Did a few nights volunteering at Nottingham College. And then thought, right, I'm just going to go for it. Just going to, I think this was during COVID, I did my assessors. And then after that, I was like, I'm just going to go for this now.
What's crazy about that as well is...
When I was looking for the jobs, this is where the job was, at the prison.
Yeah. What's crazy about that was when he did his assessor's award, the same guy that taught him how to do his assessors was actually my college tutor who taught me how to cut hair.
Oh, wow.
That's literally years and years later. And then it's mad how it's full circle, like, and he still teaches, which is really cool. And I work at his shop on a Saturday.
Excellent.
So it's mad.
And so, do you doing your assessor? You said you're dyslexic.
Yeah.
But was that supported or
No. I just did everything myself. Just found it, and then
were determined to get that under your belt.
I just wanted to push forward for myself, really, and just like, because as cliche as it sounds, like I had teachers before and everything else tell me that I'd actually be in prison, but now look, I am in prison, but opposite side,
on the right side of things.
But it was supported when I had doing my IQA and doing my CET. I had quite a bit of support then, but it was mad. Like, it's just some of it came natural, and then a lot of it didn't. Like, especially my CET, the last 2 units that I did, I struggled really difficult with those. But the other 3, I flew through them, knew what I did. I was meant to pass in March with that, and I did it. I passed in January. I passed it like 2 months early, and just flew through it. And that's why I was like, "Ooh, let's just go." Showing that basically for myself, really self-recognition for myself, and basically shoved in teachers' faces that I grew up with, going, "You'll never make anything." But then I was like,
"No, man, well done." I mean, I love it. I think it's just incredible. I'm glad you get that sort of reward back from the students.
Oh, hell
I mean,
yeah.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
And especially seeing if you went through Nottingham College, I'm sure you weren't getting that sort of response from the students there at all. I mean, you know, everyone I spoke to who's had any connection with most hairdressing of colleges all kind of go, it's carnage. No one really wants. I mean, it's the same. No one really wants to be there.
Yeah,
that's
and
the
it's
thing about the prison,
disruptive,
though.
and you know.
So
The good thing is the prison, they haven't got their phones on them. They're not constantly distracted on TikTok.
Yeah.
These
mate,
you've got them for that 3
that's
hours.
terrible.
You've
That's
got them
terrible.
For that, you've got them for that 3 hours, and they can't. They're locked in.
You're the focus.
They can't just
that's
be
the
on
thing.
their phone.
That goes for tutors as well. Like, we don't have our phones or anything, so even college tutors may get a phone call or a buzz in their pocket and may take it out and have a look. You're literally full on focused on what you're doing, and then it's amazing what flows into your head. And you go,
It's
try
great. I
it.
mean, they did this whole thing because there's my store's very close to Wandsworth Nick, and we have I think it's called the Nick. Where there's a restaurant in there where the staff have all been taught catering, and I think Ramsey did a spell where he went in and the barbering in barbershop in prisons just doesn't seem to get the sort of airing. I think it's fascinating and and like you say, rewarding.
Yeah, it is.
It's good. It's really cool.
And so, what's the future? What's next?
Well, for myself, obviously, I want to push this as far as I can go with my certificates. So QTS is definitely next for that.
Yeah.
Then, personally, for myself is
EFB.
EFB. Personally, hopefully, get into the more AP schools, get more contracts with them, start pushing that forward to
And
try
this
and
is
limit
to try and catch people before
before they end up in prison.
Because if you don't know what an AP is, it is to catch.
Alternative provision.
Which are these guys who have been set on a path almost since they started school that will result in prison.
Same where those the alternative provision, the guys that end up in there are from foster care, they're from broken homes. And the people that are ending up in prison are from foster care, from broken homes. We're trying to stop them ending
for
up in
instance,
prison.
as Ben said earlier
Then we
about
might
a lot
have
of
a
them.
job.
Yeah, like.
But I mean, hey, what a great thing to make yourself redundant for. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I mean, that's
We're not going to stop them all, but we can stop some.
As Ben said earlier, it's like about how a lot of them don't have role models or anything like this to look up to. There's a student from one of the AP schools. His brother and his dad are in prison.
Yeah. Well, that's the role
and I was just
model,
like, but what I try to teach some of the lads now, even though any of them can be from 18 upwards into the like 40s, 50s, which we've had in the prison, I was like, you can actually look up to these people who are in prison already around you of what not to do. So you can actually use that as a positive in a way and go, why would you want to do this? Because there's people who've been on a course who are like 48, 38, and still in the same cycle, someone who's been in there 26 times into prison. I was like, what's wrong with you? And now he's on the barber and he's actually a decent barber. I'm just like, get a grip.
that's amazing. And I think that, I mean, the esteem that it must do to these guys, like you say, be the wing barber and then come out.
Yeah.
And if you guys can help them get them into a barber shop.
But that's the plan for the prison itself. And then for me personally is obviously push educating future barbers as much as we can. And hopefully, we actually contacted a school down here in London, but they wanted us to have our QTSs before they took us on.
Okay.
So once we have that, they'll take us on, and then we'll be able to push down this way as well and branch out further instead of just being.
And these are much young. These will be a much younger student.
Yeah,
What's
so
the
they're
age?
between 14 to 18.
Okay.
But unfortunately, when you're 14 and 15, you only can get a VRQ, not an MVQ. You have to be 16 to get an MVQ.
Right.
And I'm trying to push because with that is they have to do all their assessments on doll's heads. So if that's the case, then I'll get them to work on live models so they have that practice, training and everything else, and then do their assessments on the model.
That kind of fast track through it.
Yeah, if we're teaching them to 14 to 16 to do the VRQ, by the time they get to 16 and start their
move to
MVQ, they're going to fly through that MVQ.
And they'll have most of the paperwork done.
They'll be level 2 qualified within a few months.
Amazing.
So we can get them straight
But they
into
technically
work.
would have been doing it for 2 years already, so which is decent. And with certain qualifications as well now, or board and body, sorry, they're trying to move it into a T level. So it's one qualification, level 2, level 3 is just one, which I think is ideal. But what I think they should start doing, personally, is I think all award and bodies should start merging level 2 hairdressing, level 2 barbering into each other, just as one thing, and you have no choice but to learn a bit of what's a hairdressing. I think it makes so much easier because you have men with long hair and people are like, oh, what you do? And if it wasn't for one of my old managers when I worked at Everyman Barbers in Nottingham, his name's Dale, he taught me how to section hair properly. And if it wasn't for him, I would have never flowed a little bit quicker because of that. Yeah. Like he generally showed me because he has a hairdressing background. Wow. And it literally made life so much easier when I knew how to section.
And the AP school, that's a building that's already existing. You'd go into a school like a college and set up a barber area.
We're in contact with the school right now that's just literally building a barbers, hairdressers, beauty part for us to go into and teach. Yeah.
So
mate,
then
brilliant. I mean, it's just
some schools as well that we're in contact with. Like I may just have a chair, like one of these little armchairs, where I'm just sitting and teaching them. But some of them are interested, but their attention span is quite low. But I teach on a Friday at one of them.
The thing what me and Joe have to realise as well is these people, especially me as well, I just expect everyone to understand barbering just because I've done it for so long.
Yeah, of course.
I just expect them to understand it. But it's taking it back to like the bare bones and teaching them, right, this is a comb, this is how you hold the comb, this is how you flick the comb. They get a buzz off it, these kids do. So
yeah. And it's very hard when you come across someone who's left-handed and then I have to start cutting with my left hand and making myself ambidextrous on purpose. But it's like cramping my hand like because I'm left-handed.
I'm a righty, but I was taught by a left-handed barb. I was always told to watch him through the mirror. I'm unsure it really helped that much. But never mind.
We when we're teaching lads and we'll get the left-handed scissors out.
Just like, oh, Jesus.
You're doing everything
it feels very odd.
It does. It's like when you fold your arms opposite way, you're just like, what you do? Like, you look dead awkward.
What I was saying about the people not understanding barbering, so we're starting to offer an hour taster session to schools for free for us, me and Joe, to go in and just show them what we're about, what we're going to teach you. These are the units. This is what you're going to learn. And we've got one coming up in April, haven't we?
Yeah.
That we're going into just for after Easter, just for an hour, just to give them a taster, so we can get into the school.
That's the plan, hopefully, just to move forward with the APs eventually and become, like, personally, how I'd like it to see it is anyone who wants to, who's got the level 3 barbering or hairdressing or more than 10 years of experience, which equates to level 3 anyways, because you've got the experience behind you, who want to do their assessors and want to teach, feel free to reach out to us, and we can help you get you a job in working in a school.
Sure that we get an email for you guys put up when your episode goes out. More power to your elbow, guy. I think it's jaw dropping. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
It would be good, especially like I'm starting to get a lot more interest with the schools, because I messaged a lot of them last year. And it's crazy how a lot of them have now just started messaging back a year later. Goes, oh, this is a good thing, this is a good thing. And there's a few who turn around and go, oh, I'm just starting up, can you do this? But now, because we started offering that taster session, they're getting back in touch, goes, oh, yeah, and trying to get it through.
If it stops kids getting, if it stops 14-year-olds dragging themselves into gang and that slippery slope that it's going to, well, statistically that it's there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's
mad.
That's the
It is crazy, like how a lot of them have similar backgrounds for people who are in prison now, or the ones who are in the AP schools who've left home in gangs, kicked out, out of school in general, and then some of them don't even know how to tell the time, basic things. And it's mad to think that I've got 2 young kids myself, like a 5-year-old and a 12-year-old, and my 5-year-old's learning time now. But these kids are 14 and still don't have a clue.
I got kicked out of school at 16 years old. There was no way I was going anywhere. My careers talk was, this is how you fill out a UB40, which was how you claim the dole, and that was my lot. Off you go. And I was, just terribly lucky that I bumped into somebody, and I dropped into hairdressing, and I worked in a store, and that was it. But it's so easy that you can see you come out of there and you're abandoned, and that's it.
For myself,
really easily done.
When I got into barbering, it was off a whim. It generally was. I closed my eyes, pulled up a college brochure online, closed my eyes and pointed. And I literally said to myself, whatever I land on, I'm doing that for life. And I literally landed on hairdressing, and I rang a few colleges and went, I wonder if hairdressing and barbering are slightly different. And it was like, oh yeah, come down. And then at the time it was South Notts College in Nottingham, went to Central, and now it's Nottingham College. I went there and I just did my level 2, level 3 back to back. But the second I started my course, I just started cutting hair in barbershops. I just started watching other people, literally went straight in on it. And I was like, I'm taking this as far as I can go.
No, I think but if you find it and you love it, and that's what hopefully you're catching these guys. We had Liam, who I keep bringing up because he absolutely blew me away, who spent 10 years doing a job, making himself unwell, picked up a pair of clippers, did a course, and immediately just felt fantastic. So, I think when you find it, it's incredible. And you're still cutting hair, you two? You still got
it? I still cut on a Saturday, every Saturday.
Yeah, I'm still most evenings cutting hair.
So your shoulders, your elbows, you're still managing it?
They don't hurt as much anymore because I'm not doing 10 hours a day.
But you're still liking it. You're still enjoying your barber.
I think I enjoy cutting hair more now because of it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I generally do.
Well, guys, I'm so pleased you made it up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for inviting us on.
Yeah, it's really appreciate it.
Onward. Please do, if it's something that interests you, get in touch with these guys. You're doing a great job, and I'm glad you're finding that reward for it. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you for watching this episode of The Noble Barber. If you liked it, please do like and subscribe. If you've got comments of what we should be doing in future, please give us your questions and we'll try and find an expert to talk to. Or if you're the expert and you want to come on here and help, stay in touch, we'll get you on. Come and join us on the sofa.